Hi everyone, back out on the Vitus esubstance today for a ride. Try and dodge the showers. I think autumn's come with a vengeance. But yeah, it did occur to me, it's been just about 2 years now since I brought the Vitus esubstance. Picked it up at a good price when Wiggle was going down the pan, and I thought now would be a good time to do a final sort of review on the bike. Has it been a good buy? Have I had problems? Have I got buyer's remorse, or am I laughing all the way to the bank? So while I'm out trying to dodge the showers, I thought I'd do a bit of a review. So let's get down to some details. I brought the bike 2 years ago now, and I've done just over 2,500 miles on it, which probably doesn't seem a lot to the hardcore gravel bikers who will go out and do a couple of 100 miles in a day, but that's never been my thing. They made all sorts of promises about it opening the wild world and being able to hit long distances and so on, and huge battery lives. So this is what I found over the last couple of years. So we'll start with a bit of a recap on the bike itself. So the bike itself then is as it came. It's got the aluminium frame, which was standard, carbon forks, which is as near as you get to suspension on this thing, and got the SRAM Apex 1x group set, which has been brilliant, to be honest. Comes with a standard Fazua 250X drive system, which comes with one battery, 250 watt hour. The brakes are standard SRAM hydraulics. Pedal wise I opted for the DMR V12s because that's what I've got on my mountain bike and I want it to feel the same, so that's what we went with those. Big question, what have I done to it, what have I added to it or changed since I've had it? Well, first thing I've done is I changed the saddle. I've gone for an Ergon SR all-road core comp saddle. That's remarkably comfortable. It's the very similar saddle to what I've got on my mountain bike, and very comfortable, especially when you had your sit bone measured and it fits you. I fitted mud hugger gravel huggers front and rear, and they pretty much stay on all the time. It keeps me and the bike somewhat on the clean side. And obviously got a mount for the Garmin, which gives me access to the Fazua dashboard on there, and I've added a couple of frame bags. I've got the Oxford Aqua Evo full-size frame bag, the long one, and matching saddle bag, well, matching handlebar bag, which gives me all the space I need to carry spares, snacks, first aid kit and so on. And the other reason for the Aqua Evo frame bag is that I can fit a spare battery in there for the Fazua drive system. So we'll come back to in a little while when we talk about range, but obviously the ability to carry a spare battery as well as all my spares means I can double the range. Tyre wise, I still got on the original Maxxis Ramblers, say 2,500 miles in, and tread wise they're not doing too badly. And one of the first things I did to these was get rid of the tubes and converted it to tubeless, and I've been using Stan's tubeless sealant in there, top it up every 6 months, and touch wood, I've not had a puncture yet. That could be the famous last words, couldn't it? But yeah, 2 years, no punctures, and been remarkably reliable. Okay, I can hear the thunder rumbling. and the sky is getting very black. So I'm going to get on and ride for a bit, and then we'll talk a little bit about service and reliability. Whoa, sketchy. As regards routine maintenance then, I'm pretty tight when it comes to routine maintenance, if I'm brutally honest, and I'll do what I can myself. So I'll give the bike a wipe down after every ride, wash it after every few, unless of course it's got particularly muddy, and then it'll get a hose down and wipe off when I get home. But yeah, that's my routine and maintenance regime. I'll also, when I've given it a wash or a wipe down, I'll give the chain a wipe over. My favourite trick, don't cry or shout at me, I get a cloth, a sort of microfiber cloth with a bit of WD-40 on it, and wipe the chain down. That gets a bit of most of the crud off it, and wipe it dry, and then a bit of muck off all weather lube dripped on each link, just one dot on each link. And that largely does it. Drivetrain's been quiet, and yeah, runs pretty well. As regards taking it in for proper servicing, if you'd like, it's been in the bike shop twice. I took it in after the first winter, primarily just to give it a check over, and because I had one of the things that people moan about, the dreaded Fazua bottom bracket creak. So I took it into Midlands MTB. Mike there, who's a Fazua dealer, and gave it a good check over, and it was little more, the creak was, than the bottom brackets. So I'll try again. The motor mount bolts, and literally they take them off, give it all a clean, put new brackets in, retorque them up, and it comes up and it's silent, not a creak to be heard. And yeah, that was pretty much it. And I had exactly the same after about another year of riding. I got the creak back, and when it went in for service, Mike just took the bolts out, give them a clean up, put new bolts in, retorque them, and it's been silent again ever since. So I think that's just a general thing, that the dreaded creak, rather than being motor bearings, is actually a little more than the mounting bolts coming loose, from my experience. And the actual motor has run a dream. I've seen all sorts of horror stories about Fazua, but I have to say the amount of assistance you get is right, it's tweakable. I've changed the ride profile. I've gone for I found a nice gravel one, a gravel default, which suits my style of riding very nicely, and it gives me the right amount of assist. I spend most of my time in the green level, and occasionally if I'm having a headwind or I'm feeling particularly lazy, I'll pop it into the mid-range assist. It's very, very rare. I think probably I can count the times on the fingers of one hand when I've felt the need to use the maximum assist. So that's my personal experience. Yeah, this winter when it went in for servicing, had a new chain, and it wasn't particularly expensive, and that's been fine. I've changed the brake pads once after about a year's riding, and they've held up very well since, so nothing to get excited about there. Right, I'm going to get down and do a bit more riding, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about battery range. So the big question then, folks, really is range. What sort of range can you get off the Fazua Ride 50 system with just a 252 watt-hour battery in the real world? How long's a piece of string is the answer, of course. What I've found is, if you're talking winter riding, high winds, steep hills and so on, you might just get 28-30 miles. Well, you're probably using a bit more assist there. But on the other hand, today, and a day like today, which is a light breeze, well, possibly a bit more actually, there's a bit of a front coming in and low pressure and all that rubbish, if you know your weather. And I'm getting around 10 miles to a 20% of battery, which is one light on the control system. Each of those 5 little lights represents 20%. I've done over 10 miles and I've lost 1 bar so far. The most I've got out of one battery, and I'm an average rider in average conditions, is just short of 50 miles. And I reckon if I'd have pushed it till the battery died on me, I would have got 50 miles. Which ain't bad going for a little battery, I don't think. I mean, the most you get support wise out of this motor on full support is 55 Newton meters. But that said, you've got a really pretty good gear ratio system. The 1x11 system is excellent. It copes with most hills and I can stay in the lowest level of assist and I'm happy. I'm a 62-year-old semi-fit, semi-unfit cyclist, so I think I'd be pretty much Mr. Average. So I think that's pretty good. That said, I have brought a second battery, which means I can go out, I can now push further, I can go further if I want to. I've got that reassurance of knowing, even on a cold winter's day, when I'm feeling lazy and I've got a headwind and it's an uphill ride, that I'll still have probably close to 50, sort of getting on for 60 miles of range. And I don't want to do any more than that, thank you. You know, on a nice sunny day, and we've had a few of them this year, I haven't done more than 50. So yeah, if you like doing more, you could easily carry a spare battery, as I have done on a few occasions now. If you're doing an overnighter with your camping gear on and so on, I'd certainly say take your charger with you and talk nicely to the campsite, or to arrange it beforehand so you can recharge. And these things will charge up on the standard 2 amp charger. It says a couple of hours. To be honest, I think it's probably nearer 3 or even just over if they're very low. But I've had no charging issues with mine. They charge fine. Now, people have said there's issues with losing charge when you leave them. Now, I don't follow the rule book when I charge mine. I have never have done with my e-bikes. So what I do, when I get in on this bike, and any bike for that matter, e-bike, the battery comes off the bike, the drive pack comes off the bike, it goes in the house, I charge it up to fully charged, and it sits there till I want to ride the bike again. So, prime example this morning, I last rode the bike 5 days ago, 4 days ago, can't quite count. I fully charged it after that ride, put the battery in the bike, put the drive pack on the bike I should say, and it was at 97%. So yes, you use a little bit, it's designed to do that, so that's not a big issue, and it certainly doesn't drain the battery. And according to the Fazua app, my battery health on the original battery I had 2 years ago is very good. So the battery is certainly looking after itself and it's not doing it any harm. So let's get back doing a bit more riding and then we'll do a bit of a summary. Okay then, so what do I think of the bike? I brought the Vitus because I wanted something I could just get out of the shed after work and go and do an hour's bike ride to relax and chill. And I've got to say that's what it's done. I've got it out the bike regularly 2 or 3 nights a week after work, gone and doing 1 or 2 miles and thoroughly enjoyed it. But beyond that, I find I'm riding the mountain bike less, which is obvious I suppose to a degree because I used to ride that after work, but it felt a bit overbiked for the sort of stuff you've seen me riding today and the sort of stuff you've seen me ride in other videos. But I find myself now, when we go on holiday, I sort of look at the mountain bike and look at the gravel bike, and more the gravel bike's going in the car. That's the bike that's coming with me. You'll have seen recent videos of the loop we did round Kiel the Water, which was lovely on the gravel bike, and up on the Swale Trail, which was probably pushing the limits to a degree on a gravel bike in places, but still great fun. And I just find the gravel bike very relaxing. I don't need to faff around putting pads on and things like that. I don't have to worry too much about falling off. It gives T less stress because I'm less likely to get hurt if I fall off this. But as a bike, I find it really relaxing to ride. Reliability has been fantastic. Yeah, it's picked a few knocks and scratches up, but bikes do that when you ride them. And I've never been precious about the odd knock and scratch. It's a tool to be used. So, am I pleased with it? Yes, very pleased with it. I've enjoyed it, you bet I have. So, if you're thinking about picking up one of these things, don't be put off by the horror stories on Fazua, because I've had none of that. The support network's still there for them. My local bike shop has access to all the spares, and anything that went wrong under warranty he says he could fix. He's got all the software to be able to do updates for me, and from my perspective I've thoroughly enjoyed it. So whether you're thinking about buying a Fazua powered gravel bike, or whether you get another type of gravel bike, if you come from mountain biking and you want to change, I think you're going to enjoy it. Not sure about the roadies though. Are any of us sure about roadies? I don't know. Okay folks, thanks for watching. Let us know your thoughts and comments, and if you've got any questions, drop them below and I'll do my best to answer them or point you in the right direction. So until next time, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and a like. Stay safe out there folks. Bye now.